voice of God, your awareness of being. This is Hyptoria. Hypnotize you to. There is a voice that whispers before your thoughts. It speaks without sound and moves without words. That voice is God. You have always been listening, and yet you may have never truly heard. Not because the voice is silent, but because it is so close, so subtle, it is easy to overlook. Like the faint warmth of the sun before dawn fully breaks, your awareness of being is the first indication of the divine. The moment you awaken each day and realize, I am here, that single awareness is the living presence of God within you. Not a distant deity or grand mythology, but your own consciousness, aware of itself. Lesson 1. The voice within is God. This is the greatest secret, hidden in plain sight. The voice of God speaks as you, in your most private, wordless self, before you ever identify with the roles you play or the names you carry. There is only this still, foundational truth. I am. This awareness isn't something you do, it's something you are. Think of it as the root note in a symphony of creation, the sacred hum beneath every form your life takes. It is the origin of all thoughts, dreams, fears, and desires. Before them, I am. After them, still, I am. The world has conditioned you to look outward for signs, answers, blessings, and miracles. But the door was never locked from the outside. It opens from within, and the key is awareness. You are not meant to chase power. You are here to awaken to it. There is no higher power outside of you. There is higher realization of the power already within. The voice you've been straining to hear, wondering if God knows your name, has always been whispering back, I know you, because I speak as you. Listen not with your ears, but with your being. The more you tune into that silent awareness of I am, the more clearly you'll realize it is the creative source of everything you experience. You don't manifest by effort, you manifest by identity. What you are conscious of being, the universe faithfully reflects. If you accept I am abundant, then that becomes the mold into which life must pour. If you claim to I am always struggling, the same law applies. This voice, the one that declares I am, doesn't require belief to work. It simply is. You are always expressing it, even when you don't know you are. That's why awareness is sacred. It is the beginning of all manifestation. Before you can become anything, you must first be aware of being it. That is the moment creation takes place. And creation is not just what forms outside of you, but what you continually declare within. The ancient mystics whispered this truth in every tradition, that God lives not just above, but as consciousness itself, as awareness, as being. You don't pray to God as a subject prays to a ruler. You awaken your divine identity by recognizing the words silently spoken inside. Each time, you feel the stillness of being within. So, when you say, I am, you are not making a statement. You are sounding a frequency, planting a seed, forming a shape out of the infinite substance of being. The moment you decide what follows I am, you shape the direction of your world, not because words are magic tricks, but because identity is law. Say it now, not out loud, but inwardly. I am here. Feel that. That simple awareness is the birthplace of miracles. You don't need permission to claim it. You already are it. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth beingness. The mind may resist, concepts may collide, but truth doesn't argue. It simply waits for recognition. Deep down, you already know this voice. Perhaps you've heard it in still moments, those split seconds when thought stops, and a gentle presence fills your chest. Perhaps you've sensed it in longing, the knowing that something greater lives within you, waiting to be remembered, not granted. That something is not a secret, it is you. And this chapter, this moment right now, is your return, not to something new, but something ancient and eternal, that lives as your very consciousness. The whisper is not asking for you to improve or to strive, it's asking you to listen, to be still long enough to hear the truth as it speaks in first person, as your own being. Left double quotation mark. And now, you will begin again, power itself. Because when you truly know the voice within is God, you speak no more from fear, you speak as creation. Lesson 2. I am. The first sound of creation. Before the earth was formed, before the stars were born, before language shaped our thoughts, there was only one thing. A soundless voice, a presence, a knowing. It whispered, I am. It was not a name. It was not a label. It was identity, need permission to exist. It didn't ask to appear. It simply declared itself, and reality echoed back into being. I am was the first word ever spoken in the language of the universe. And it was not uttered by someone separate from you. It was and is you. Too often, we search for beginnings in the wrong places. True beginning of any creation is when you declare it. That is the Genesis moment. Not in years past, but here. Now, in this breath. Every act of creation is born through identification. Not through trying, not through wishing, not even through working, but through being. When you say in sincerity, I am, you shift from hoping into embodiment. You merge with what you seek, and the world must reflect your new nature. The outer always bends to the inner, the material bows to the spiritual, and the spiritual speaks first and forever in I am. Think of a seed. Inside it, you don't find the tree, the branches, or the fruit. Encoded in its very essence is the full potential of what it will become. I am is your soul's seed. When you declare I am wealthy, I am free, I am loved, you are not inventing something from the outside. You are watering the divine blueprint within you. Feel it deeply, and the fruit will form in your reality. Everything you see around you right now has come from some I am that you accepted, consciously or unconsciously. Every relationship, every bank balance, every mirror reflection has been shaped by a silent, sacred declaration of what you unknowingly called yourself. You are not merely observing life, you are speaking it into form with every breath of identity you take. This is the difference between affirmations that work and those that don't. If you say, I am confident, but in the background identity you still carry shame or fear, the hidden, I am afraid, is what radiates. The universe responds not to words alone, but to the frequency beneath them. You must feel your words for them to be creative. You must claim your state completely to command it into form. This is not about tricking the universe. There is no trick. There is truth, and truth always begins inside. You do not become something by reaching for it. You become it by declaring and dwelling in the awareness that you already are. The unseen responds to who you are being, not what you are wanting. The moment you identify as something, it begins its journey into form. Not always instantly, and not always the way your mind expects, but inevitably. Life cannot help but mirror what you have called yourself. You can move mountains if you dare to feel, even for a moment, that you are the mountain. Let this sink deeper. You are not asking life to give to you. You are telling life what you are. Creation listens to identity, not need. Need keeps you in lack. Identity moves you into divine causation. Tell a new story, one echoing with divinity. Say gently inside yourself, I am light, I am love, I am safe, I am success, I am sovereign, I am. And do not wait for the world to confirm it. You confirm it. Then the world aligns. There is power in stillness. Feel it now. In this moment, something greater than thought, greater than form, is alive in you. Can you sense it? That quiet hum of awareness beneath your name, your doubts, your plans, that is the voice of God within you, speaking always in the first breath of existence. I am. Everything comes after that. Everything emerges from that sacred announcement. Your desire already exists in the house of I am. Walk in, wear it, live there mentally. If you want to manifest love, declare I am love and walk through your day like love put on skin. If you want wealth, identify not with the money, but with the nature of abundance. I am supply, I am flow, and move through your day like the source, not the seeker. Identity is the gate of all creation, and I am, when spoken by one who knows their divinity, is the sound of Eden opening again. So begin here, not with your problem, not with the gap, but with the voice. The same voice that spoke light into darkness, cosmos into chaos. The same voice that says, I am in you. When you speak, I am, speak as the one who is already arrived. Feel it, speak it, become it. Lesson 3. Awareness precedes manifestation. The world you see is not created when your eyes open. It's born when your awareness moves. Before form arises, before people enter or exit your life, before money flows or dries up, something quiet stirs in your consciousness. A thought, a feeling, a whispered assumption. The moment you become aware of something, truly aware, not as a passing idea, but as a felt reality, you begin to feed the soil of manifestation. Let that sink in. Manifestation does not begin at arrival. It begins at awareness. Your life is not happening to you. It is happening through you. Everything you experience is your being, revealing itself, not as punishment, not as reward, but as fulfillment of your inner state. You are not a puppet in some cosmic theater. You are the projector in the back of the room, sending light through the lens of your belief. The world, then, is simply the screen, neutral, willing, waiting, receiving, whatever movie you are playing inside. And just like film reels, your inner imaginations become visible when the lights go down and attention shines. You don't need to fix the world outside. You only need to become aware of what you're broadcasting within. What are you consistently thinking, saying, feeling about yourself, about your worth, about your capacity to receive love, wealth, peace, and joy? These aren't just thoughts, they are instructions, seeds, and the universe has no choice but to reflect back what has been sown in consciousness. The ancient mystics spoke in symbols, parables, riddles not to confuse you, but to help you bypass the surface mind and remember truth in the heart. The kingdom of heaven is within you, they said. And what is heaven, if not the pure knowing of one's oneness with Source? What is paradise, if not the full awareness of I am, undistorted, unlimited, unclothed by fear? You are always creating, not when you light your candles or script your desires, not when you vision board or make affirmations before sunrise. You are always creating, because you are always aware. The question then is not, how do I manifest? But, what am I aware of being right now? Every moment is sacred, because every moment is creation. The delay you perceive is not the universe withholding, it is you catching up to what you've already said within. You may believe your words don't matter when no one hears them. You may think your self-talk is harmless, your quiet worries insignificant. But there is no off switch to your awareness. Whether you whisper, I can never get ahead in fear, or I am supported in peace, life responds with fidelity and love. Life listens, always. When you begin to understand this, truly feel it, your need to manipulate circumstances dissolves. You stop looking for approval, for permission, for signs. Because now you know. If you can become aware of it, if you can feel it as done, it must reflect. So bring your attention home to the silent place that watches, that knows before you speak. Sit in your beingness. Notice what thoughts rise like morning fog. Notice what emotions come with them. Are they stories of limitation? Are they echoes of old identities? Let them rise, not to fear them, but to see them. Because to see is to free. That's the power of awareness. You don't need to force change. You only need to become aware of who you are being beneath the noise. And then, feel gently into another state. Not as escape, as truth. What would you feel if it were now real? What would you wear? How would your mouth curve in joy if your desire had already been made flesh? Don't imagine to get it. Imagine to become it. Step into that state like slipping into warm water. Rest in it, not to attract it, but because it's already yours. Awareness precedes manifestation. Knowing precedes seeing. Do not wait for evidence to believe. Your belief is the evidence. Your inner knowing is the cause, the root, the origin. And the moment you claim, I am, and feel it with quiet certainty, the world responds with matching silence and begins to move. Creation is not chasing, it is remembering. Everything you desire is already held within you as pure awareness, waiting only for your recognition. You don't attract what you want, you reflect what you are aware of being. So awaken not by looking for signs, but by becoming the sign. You are awareness itself, not the thoughts that pass, but the space they pass through. And from that space comes all peace, wealth, health, joy, union, unfolding in perfect timing, because you first saw it in the unseen realm within. The outer arrives when the inner is embodied. Awareness first, then form. This is the law. This is the whisper. This is how the voice of God speaks inside you. Lesson 4. Your inner speech is law. Your most powerful conversations are the ones no one hears. They happen in the still corridors of your mind, the whispered claims, the rehearsed worries, the casual declarations you murmur to yourself throughout the day. These are not idle thoughts. They are not harmless chatter. Your inner speech is law. The world you see around you does not argue with what you say within. It listens and obeys. Not in metaphor, in manifestation. Every phrase you speak internally stirs the field of life into movement. You say, "Nothing ever works out for me," and life folds itself to echo that melody. You say, "Bark, everything is always working in my favor," and unseen doors begin creaking open, lining up harmony unseen just moments before. The echo is inevitable, and it begins with you. It's easy to believe that only what we say aloud counts, but the truth is far more sacred. Your whispered self-talk carries the same creative command as thunderous declaration. Why? Because consciousness doesn't need volume. It responds to vibration, to assumption, to what you accept as true of yourself. And so many unknowingly accept limitation, anxiety, and lack, not by intention, but by repetition. They repeat what they see, rather than declare what they desire. And, in that repetition, they reinforce patterns that no longer serve them. But you are not a victim of old words. You are the word, made aware. Pause right now. Begin to notice, what am I saying to myself? Is it loving? Is it empowering? Or is it subtly sculpting a smaller version of me? Because every phrase carries seed, and all seeds grow when affirmed by your attention. The universe does not need to be convinced you do. There is no power outside withholding your dream. There is only your inner speech, quietly deciding whether you are ready. And readiness is recognized by rhythm. The rhythm of belief pulsing through your self-talk. If you continually tell yourself, "I'm just not good at this," that rhythm becomes a chant, and the world will agree. If you daily mutter, "I never catch a break," that inner statement writes the next act before you live it. But if you dare to revise that whisper, if you shift your tone from lack to love, something miraculous begins. Try it. Replace "I don't know how this will happen" with "everything is working out perfectly for me, even if I can't yet see how." Let that new story animate your mind like a symphony. Let it sing through your being. Because the inner word is not just thought, it is script. And your life follows it with exquisite precision. This is why silence can be sacred, but unchecked silence is dangerous. Not because quiet is wrong, but because even in the quiet, your inner voice continues to speak, and it is always announcing who you believe yourself to be. Declare "I am abundant," and abundance begins seeking shape. Say "I am loved," and evidence starts arriving in unexpected ways. But don't just declare with your lips, let your whole being whisper it. Let the tone of your inner voice match the world you wish to dwell in. Real manifestation begins not with effort, but with alignment. And alignment is created in the quiet places by the consistent choice of inner language. Choose tender, choose powerful, choose deliberate truth, rooted in your divine identity. You are not being punished by life, you are being mirrored. And if the reflection seems unkind, it is not an accusation, it is an invitation. An invitation to speak something new into yourself. There is no delay in spirit, only in our self-talk, only in the lag between what is promised and what we are willing to accept. What would happen if you stopped arguing against your blessing? What if you no longer entertained the old story the moment a new one began to emerge? How might your world rearrange if you simply said again and again, "Everything is unfolding perfectly for me now," and meant it? Remember, the laws of consciousness do not respond to wishful thinking. They respond to identity, and identity is shaped by what we tell ourselves, moment after moment. This is why intentional repetition is spiritual practice. Declaring your desired state until it feels natural is not delusion, it is the process of embodiment. Say it until it's not just a thought, but a knowing. Say it until your body listens. Say it until your life has no choice but to agree. For the word that speaks rules, and the word is you. Lesson 5. Feeling is the sound of truth. Listen closely, not with your ears, but with your heart. Beneath every word you speak, there hums a frequency. It vibrates gently, yet it is the most powerful force in your creation. That frequency is feeling. And feeling, not thought, is the true sound of God. Think of it this way: thought directs, but feeling activates. Intellect imagines, but emotion breathes life into the form. You may affirm all day, but the world listens not to your words. It obeys what you feel when you say them. You could stand in front of a mirror every morning and speak declarations of abundance, confidence, or love. But if your belly twists with doubt, or your chest tightens in unworthiness, those declarations are only noise. Creation does not arise from sound alone. It manifests the feeling behind the sound. It is not enough to say I am wealthy. You must feel wealth in your bones, in your breath, in your being. That deep, embodied resonance is what communicates to the infinite field of consciousness. This is real. The feeling you dwell in is the blueprint of what comes next. Just like a song carries emotion even before lyrics are understood, your vibration precedes your proof. You are always translating your unseen into the seen, and your feeling is the formula. It faithfully encodes your state of being into the fabric of time and space. So if you want to know what you are truly speaking, ask yourself, what do I feel to be true regardless of what I say? Feeling is faith alive, not hope, not wishing. Faith, the inner knowing that it is so, even before YouTube numbers grow, before clients arrive, before love texts you back. Faith doesn't wait, it declares and delights. And this delight is not forced, it is felt. That sensation of joyful certainty, even in the silence, that is divine conviction, speaking on your behalf. Most people wait for circumstances to grant them a feeling, but the awakened know the secret. All circumstances come from feelings first. You may think the relationship made you feel adored, but in truth, your prior feeling of worth invited the relationship in. You may think the job gave you confidence, but it was your inner confidence, latent or loud, that magnetized the opportunity. Nothing begins outside of you. What shows up around you merely echoes what stirs within you. If you want something different, you must feel something different. You cannot plant seeds of were and harvest freedom. You cannot dwell in resentment and attract love. Life is not tricking you, it is mirroring you. The law does not respond to your words alone, it responds to the feeling that wraps around those words. Whether you whisper it in stillness or cry it out loud, what matters is the emotion that declares, "This is me. This is what I am." Here's how you know you're in alignment. It feels done. Even when you have no physical evidence, even before a single thing changes, you just know. It clicks inside like a door unlocking, not with fanfare, but with peace. The anxiety stops. The grasping ends. There's a softness, a grounded certainty, as if every cell in your body says, yes. That yes is the voice of God confirming. Your awareness has said, I am, and it is heard. Feeling it is done is not pretending. It is remembering. You are not convincing the world of a lie. You are recalling a divine truth that has always been written within you. I am loved. I am abundant. I am free. These are not dreams. They are identities waiting to be felt as reality. When you merge with the feeling of them, you awaken their form. So take a moment now. Breathe. Set aside logic. Set aside effort. Can you feel, even a little, what it would feel like if your desire were already fulfilled? Don't ask how. Don't look for proof. Just feel it like a memory that's already yours. Hear the laughter in your future. Taste the peace. Let the gratitude rise in your chest as you sit in that unseen yet real place where it is already done. That feeling is the voice of God. That is what creates. Not the bigging, not the hoping, not the long, exhausting plan. It is the quiet yes within the feeling. And as you stay in that climate of conviction, the world, without trying, begins to shape itself around it. Nights turn into days, delays dissolve, the unseen steps forward. Because it cannot resist the truth you have dared to feel. You do not create through force, you create through feeling. You do not chase the outcome, you become its signal. You feel it now, not later, and your now is where God lives. Your now is the temple. Your now is the broadcast tower for miracles. So rise in the energy of knowing, walk in the rhythm of fulfillment. Let your feelings speak louder than your fears, for the feeling is the sound of truth. Lesson 6. Speak from the end, not to it. Manifestation does not respond to your wishes. It responds to your assumptions. Life mirrors the position you speak from, not the begging, not the hoping, but the knowing. You are not here to convince the universe. You are here to reveal what is already convinced within you. When you speak from lack, you affirm that lack exists. You may say, "I want abundance," but feel the echo of not having it, and it is that echo that forms the mold of your reality. You might plead for love, money, healing, or clarity, but if you approach these desires as something outside of you, your inner truth is still separation, and the world faithfully reflects that. There is a sacred difference between speaking to a desire and speaking from its fulfillment. When you speak to the end, your words are colored by distance. You see your desire ahead of you, separate, not yet real. And so though your voice may chant affirmations, your posture is one of waiting, yearning, hoping. But to speak from the end is radically different. It is not request, it is revelation. You look out through the eyes of the already fulfilled. You stand inside the completed promise. You do not beg the seed to bloom. You are the rose, already open. Try this. Close your eyes and remember a moment in your life when something you once desired came to pass. Maybe it was an opportunity, a relationship, a burst of peace after chaos. Remember how the air felt around you, how your body breathed a little deeper, how relief turned into joy. Now realize this. In that state, you didn't ask anymore. You weren't trying to get. You were simply already there. That feeling is the frequency of speaking from the end. And this is the secret. You are the doorway. You are not walking toward your desire. Your desire is passing through you from unseen to seen, from thought to form, from word to world. That's why you must feel it now, see it now, walk, live, breathe from it now. Assume the end and speak from it. I am loved. I am chosen. I am wealthy. Say it not as a mantra to reach somewhere, but as the voice of someone who's already arrived. Let every declaration come from identity, not effort, from assurance, not angst. Think of it this way. When the architect holds blueprints, she does not doubt the house. She's already seen it, felt it, planned the sunlight pouring into the windows at 4 p.m. in July. She doesn't ask if it's real. She builds what already was. Your assumptions are your blueprint. Your feelings are the materials. Your words become the foundation. When you embody the vision, not as future hope, but as present truth, the world kneels to follow.
Jesus didn't say,
"Ask and then worry." He said, "Believe ye have received it, and it shall be yours." Present knowing, past receipt, future guarantee. It's a loop of creation that begins with your internal conviction. Gratitude is the natural language of someone who has received. That is why thank you is more powerful than please. When you give thanks, you are testifying to the reality of your desire. It has arrived. It is done. Even when invisible, you speak as one who sees. Even when intangible, you feel as one who touches. This is the voice of God declaring, "Let there be," and seeing that it was good. Do you realize? You are not waiting on your manifestation. Your manifestation is waiting on your voice, the voice of certain being, the voice that aligns with truth, not appearances, that says, "Even now, it is mine," while the world still whispers otherwise. That voice has creative power. Creation never argues. It obeys. The bridge from where you are to where you desire to be is not 1,000 steps. It is only one. Shift your point of view. Live from the place of fulfillment, and everything around you begins to move. Circumstances bend. People appear. Paths open. Because they must. Your consciousness precedes everything. To speak from the end is to speak like God, the I Am, who declares light before light is seen, peace before peace is felt, wholeness before wounds are healed. It is to embody the thing unseen until the outer world bows to its form. So speak not as one needing. Speak as one having. Speak as victory. Speak as love. Speak not to your dream. Speak from it. And watch how fast the world changes its tone to match your own. Lesson 7. You are the Word made flesh. Long before you saw the results of your prayers, you were already speaking them into being. Before light broke across the canvas of creation, there was a word. And that word was not spoken aloud. It rose in awareness, a silent declaration, vibrating with infinite knowing. I am. It did not beg for light, it knew light. It did not chase form, it became form. And that same word, flowing through the very center of your being, is you. You are the living I am. The intangible made visible, the intention wrapped in skin, the invisible word clothed in flesh. Look closely, not with physical eyes, but with the vision of remembrance. Every experience in your life, every circumstance, relationship, opportunity, or obstacle is the echo of a word once spoken within. You didn't just hope for love. At some deeper level, you declared it. You didn't just search for purpose, you became it. Whatever fills your life right now is not random, it is spoken, not with your mouth, but with your being. When you say I am, you are not describing what is, you are commanding what becomes. Even your silence carries a message, the unspoken assumption, the subtle belief, the quiet narrative humming beneath your actions. These too are speech. And so many whisper unconsciously, I am not enough, I am still waiting, I am afraid they'll leave. And with holy precision, the world wraps flesh around those words. The word becomes body, the thought becomes result. But you can return at any moment to the true voice, the voice of origin, the voice before opinion, the breath before insecurity. There, you rise again as creator, as pure essence, as I am that I am. And from this divine seat, you speak not to describe, but to define, not to reflect the world, but to reform it. Call your highest name. Speak yourself into the shape you've dared to only dream, not as a future version, not as a Sunday self, but as one already alive within you, already formed in awareness, waiting to be accepted. What you accept, you become. You are not a person trying to become spiritual. You are spirit, becoming personal. The greatest scriptural truth doesn't rest in dusty books or bronze plaques, but in this mystical revelation. The Word became flesh. This isn't a far-off tale of a prophet or one-time miracle. It is the law of being. You say, I am joyful, I am clear, I am wealthy, I am home, and the awareness of those words takes on life. Not instantly by time, but instantly by substance. The more you stay loyal to that vibration, despite appearances, the faster your world conforms. Doubt delays what faith confirms. When you contradict your sacred words with worry, reactivity, or gossip, the manifesting power pauses, waiting for your alignment to return. Not as punishment, but because creation cannot obey what you do not embody fully. It mirrors energy, not effort. Stand in front of the mirror, look into your own eyes and say aloud, slowly, I am. Not to convince anyone, not to manifest something specific, but just to remember. Let it reverberate through your bones. Let it shake loose the personas, the projections, the roles. Let it strip you of illusion until only essence remains. And in that stillness, you will realize, I have always been exactly what I speak. You do not claim success to get it. You claim it because it's already yours in truth. You do not say, I am love, to make someone love you. You say it to align with the eternal source that you've never been separate from. What you call yourself, life rushes to validate. Every name you give to your being becomes the code reality reads. So speak divinely, speak richly, speak deliberately. Refuse to describe a life you do not wish to live. Refuse to partner with words that shrink, shame, or sabotage. Speak only what you want reality to flesh out. Because it will. It already is. This is the holy mystery of manifestation. You are not waiting for reality to hear you. Reality is waiting for you to speak. And even when your mouth is silent, your being is already speaking. You are the Word made flesh. Speak as one who knows the power of that truth. Speak as one who knows their voice calls stars into place. Speak and be. Lesson 8. Silence is sacred. Choose your words. There is a silence that is more alive than sound. A stillness that speaks louder than speech. In that sacred hush between thoughts, there lies the womb of all creation. Nothing is yet formed there, and yet, everything is possible. It is in this divine quiet where your awareness, untouched and unconditioned, awaits your declaration. And so it listens, patiently, to the next word you will speak to yourself, because that word, whether whispered in worry or declared in faith, will go forth and create. You live in a talking world. From the moment you wake up, your mind buzzes. Voices from your phone, your memories, your fears, your plans, they all compete to fill the silence. But few realize that silence is not emptiness. Silence is the canvas. Silence is divine space, and every word spoken into that space is law. Every thought clothed in speech becomes a seed falling into the fertile soil of your subconscious. That soil keeps no judgment. It gives back in form whatever you've sown in sound, especially the sound of your inner speech. Most people speak without awareness, to themselves and to others. They say things like, "I always mess things up," or "this never works for me," not realizing they have just sent out a command to reality, which now must obey. Why? Because every statement of "I am," especially the ones we mutter when no one is listening, is a brushstroke on the mirror of life. The universe listens harder to the conversations you warn no one about. Those words, the quiet ones, are sacred law. You are not being punished for careless talk, but you are creating with it. Speak flippantly, and you will see a world that feels out of sync with your desires. Speak deliberately, and you will find that reality begins to bend gently toward your intention. That's the magic of sacred speech. That's the alchemy of choosing your words once you've met the silence inside. You stop speaking from fear and start speaking from the kingdom within. Don't try to overpower life with louder and louder affirmations. Instead, begin with reverent silence. Still the noise within until you can hear the whisper of "I am" without a name. The more you commune with this nameless presence, this pure awareness of being, the more powerful your words become, because now they are spoken from truth, not from reaction. You stop begging life to change, and instead declare what already is, inwardly, as done. It is in this sacred quiet that you come to realize you are not trying to be anything. You already are. Life does not respond to your wishes. It responds to your word, spoken from the seat of knowing. This is why Jesus said, "Let your word be yes, yes, and nothing more." The clarity of one declaration outweighs the volume of 1,000 desperate chants. Speak once from silence, from fullness, from presence, and your word will not return void. So pause. Become still. Let your next word come only after you've remembered who is speaking. You aren't asking the universe, you are shaping it. You aren't hoping the divine is listening, you are the divine, speaking. What are you declaring yourself to be today, right now? I am overwhelmed? I am not enough? Or I am guided? I am provided for? I am whole? Every sentence that follows "I am" is not just a phrase, it is a prophecy. And what you declare in the sacred silence will echo endlessly until it takes form. You don't need to be perfect in your speech, you only need to be conscious. Speak with awareness. Let your words be few and full. Let them arise from the stillness of your true self, not the noise of an anxious mind. The universe responds best when you speak like a god, remembering their throne. Silence, that deep, breathless quiet before the thought, is holy ground. Step into it, rest in it. Then, from that silence, choose your words like a sculptor choosing stone. With each "I am," you are chiseling form out of the formless, shaping the unseen into the seen. It is not effort that creates, it is awareness made word. The greatest power you possess is not in your doing, it is in your saying. And the most powerful saying is the one born of silence. You do not need more action, you need more presence. Speak only what you wish to see. Declare only what you are willing to become. Let your words be sacred because they are heard by the one who creates, and that one is you. So be still. Speak slow. Speak from the kingdom, and watch as your world becomes the echo of your sacred silence. Lesson 9. The world echoes your assumptions. Your world is not reacting to what you want. It is mirroring what you assume. You don't live in reality. You live in your assumption of it. Every person you meet, every scene you experience, every result you witness, none of it is separate from the silent convictions you carry within. Assumptions are not idle thoughts. They are vibrational commands, quietly spoken in the language of being. In the unseen temple of your awareness, your assumptions become rules, and the outer world follows them like a loyal servant, reflecting them back as circumstance. It's not effort that shapes your life, it's your identity. what you consistently suppose to be true about yourself, others, and the world. Those are the seeds. The world simply blooms into what you believe beneath belief. You may have thought you were responding to life, but life has only ever been responding to you. Even the delays, the disappointments, the patterns that have followed you, these are echoes of inner agreements long left unchallenged. They began as a whisper, left double quotation mark, and because the voice within has divine authority, the world became what you said within yourself. When you assume that people are unavailable, indifferent, or unkind, that becomes the tone of your reality. When you believe that money is hard to earn, success takes time, or love requires sacrifice, these ideas stretch themselves into fact, not because they're truth, but because they were accepted. Assumptions don't ask permission, they embody presence. Its very nature is this: what you continue to be is what continues to be. So ask yourself, what assumptions have been living you? What unspoken self-concepts carry the signature of I always, or I never, or people like me? Pause long enough to notice what you routinely expect to happen. Not what you prefer, but what you expect. Expectation is assumption in motion. If you want to change your world, you can't adjust the outer scene. You must shift the lens through which you are seeing it. Transformational change is not a doing, it's a being. Begin assuming something new, and watch how the entire orchestra of creation tunes itself to your frequency. Assume you are chosen. Assume you are worthy. Assume it works out for you. Assume your desire is already on its way, because you already are the version of you who receives it. This isn't wishful thinking, it's spiritual ownership. When you take on a new assumption, you are not faking it. You are remembering. You are reclaiming a version of reality that already exists in the invisible realm of possibility. You are collapsing it into form through your acceptance. I am healed. Left double quotation mark. Left double quotation mark. The moment these declarations are assumed, not questioned, not doubted, but felt as natural, the world must comply. The world doesn't argue with your assumptions. It doesn't contradict them. It confirms them. Always. Even when you're uncertain, your assumption runs the field. You do not manifest what you beg for. You manifest what you dwell in, and you dwell in what you assume. This is the creative technology of your consciousness, forever responding to the command center of your inner state. If you assume you are overlooked, life will place you in shadows. If you assume you shine, life will place you on stages. Not because one reality is more real than the other, but because both are equally possible. You just tuned into the one you were occupied with. Don't wait for someone to validate your vision. Don't look outside to see if it's real. Assume it. Let that sacred statement walk before you. I am. Let it go ahead and open doors. Let it shift timelines. Let it gather the vibrations of your destiny into now. You don't need proof. You need faith in your knowing. Feel how it feels to walk in your new assumption. Let it color your thoughts, dictate your choices, steer your conversations. And soon, what once felt imagined will harden into experience. The real affirmation isn't what you say once. It's what you are sure of continually. Especially when appearances disagree. The echo doesn't always return immediately, but it does return, always. The tone of your world will match the tuning of your consciousness. And while you cannot control the mechanics of when and how, you can always govern the route, your being. So assume joy, assume beauty, assume success aligns with ease, and hold that assumption like a divine seed beneath your ribs. Watch as the world reorders itself, not through force, not through hope, but through the law of identity. You are not broken, you are broadcasting. Change the assumption, breathe into a new inner standard, and the horizon will curve to meet you. Because the world is not fixed, it is flexible. It waits and moves, and bends according to the voice beneath your breath. Assume well, assume wisely, and let the echo carry your truth back to you. Lesson 10. What you whisper becomes what you witness. You may think the world is judging you, defining you, reflecting to you who you are, but the truth is clearer, simpler, and infinitely more powerful. The world is not speaking to you. It is echoing you. It's not making statements about you. It is speaking after you have spoken. Whisper for whisper, tone for tone, belief for belief. What you whisper in secret is heard in the open, not by others with ears, but by reality with form. The silent declarations made when no one is watching, they're not invisible, they are formative. They become roads, faces, emails, circumstances. The inner man speaks, and the outer world obeys, flawlessly, faithfully, without exception. What you whisper in the silence of being becomes what you witness in form. Most don't realize they're always speaking. Even in moments of stillness or apparent indecision, the soul is murmuring something. Most whisper unknowingly, left double quotation mark. Who am I? These whispers may not rise to verbal thought, but they fill the conversation of consciousness. And so the world responds exactly as an echo must. You're not enough. It's too late. You can't. Mirrored, just as gently, but just as surely, in experience. The key then is not to shout louder. It's to speak clearer within. Elevate the whisper. Move it from doubt to desire, from fear to faith. Speak softly, but truly, from a place already convinced. Whisper, I am abundant. Let it soak through your skin like sunlight. Whisper, I am chosen. Let it settle deep, like roots drinking in soil. And you don't need to scream your dreams. You only need to feel them in secret, and the universe will shout them on your behalf. It is written, pray in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. This is not a rule of religion. It is the structure of reality. The secret place is not a room. It is your inner being, and the Father is your own awareness of being. What you claim there returns externally as living proof, not as reward from outside, but as reflection from within. You are not trying to be heard by the universe. You are realizing the universe already heard you the moment you whispered it within. But words alone are not the seed. They are only the form. Feeling is the power behind the whisper. You know this by instinct. Think of a time you've said something jokingly that you secretly believed and watched it show up, unwanted. Or a time you spoke something lovingly, in hope, and somehow the right door opened almost magically. The difference wasn't volume. The difference was inner tone. Feeling is always the deeper language. So, when you whisper, whisper with heart. If you call yourself confident, don't simply form the word, feel it. Don't just repeat, I am successful. Become familiar with the tone of success. This is not about faking. It is about choosing a different whisper, one aligned with the version of you already waiting to be acknowledged. The world rearranges not around effort, but identity. And identity is nothing more than a chosen whisper, rehearsed and believed. This is why two people can say the same affirmation and get different results. It's not the words, it's the whisper beneath the words, the unspoken self they've chosen to be. Become mindful of your sacred silence. Breathe before you speak within. Observe what you've been whispering when you're alone, not out of judgment but curiosity. What assumptions do you sip like tea? What stories repeat like a carousel of memory? Those thoughts are not idle. They are the blueprints of tomorrow. You are never thinking for no reason. You are planting. Every subtle feeling is a seed. Every whisper becomes a world. So begin here, not by turning your world upside down, but by becoming gentle and deliberate with your internal tone. Whisper new truths. Speak identity before evidence. Answer life, not from your history, but from your destiny. If you would like to see yourself free, whisper, as one who already is. If you desire to be loved, whisper, I am love. Not because it's a trick, but because it's who you are, beneath the forgetting. Let your whispers uplift you. Stir tender authority in your soul. Rise from complaint to command, not through force, but through feeling. What you nurture within must bloom without. Life cannot ignore you. Reality bends to the whisper of God, and that whisper is yours to speak. Whisper it now. I am. Whatever follows becomes the stage on which you live, and the moment you mean it, you begin to see it. Lesson 11. Your identity is always speaking. You are always speaking. Not with lips, not with sounds rolling off your tongue, but with your state of being. Identity is not something you wear. It is something you radiate. You do not need to announce who you are. Your world announces it for you. The moment you silently claim, I am this, the birth of that version of you begins, and everything around you reorients itself to reflect the echo of that claim. The most persistent truth in manifestation is this: you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. Who you believe yourself to be, beneath the layers of effort, wishing, and waiting, is what the world must deliver. The universe does not respond to desperation. It responds to embodiment. It listens, not to your words, but to the certainty behind them. So much of manifestation is mistaught, as a barking to the cosmos, a loud declaration of desire, hurled outward to a God seen as separate. But there is no separation. There is no up there. That needs convincing. When you speak internally as already being, already having, already knowing, you are not convincing anything. You are aligning with the only thing that was ever real, your assumed identity. When you say, I am abundant, what you are truly doing is slipping into a coat, a skin, a vibration of self that communicates loudly without a single sound. When you feel into, I am loved, you are not begging for affection. You are standing in the field where love already lives, where it sees you, rushes to you, embraces you like a long-lost memory awakening. The truth is, you don't become someone else. You remember who you've always had access to being. There is nothing casual or idle about how you describe yourself, even in thought. If you often say to yourself, I'm always overlooked, or I don't have what it takes, you're not offering a temporary frustration. You are speaking identity. And identity is currency in the world of the unseen. It does not wait. It begins responding immediately, shaping circumstance after circumstance to match your self-conception. But here is the holy invitation. Identity is not fixed. It is fluid. It is as flexible as your next breath. You can outgrow an identity in a single moment the way a snake sheds skin that no longer fits. You are not bound by your past declarations or old thought loops. The moment you see yourself as already risen, wealthier, healthier, bolder, freer, the moment you feel it, you have already spoken the new reality into motion. Feel into this. Who would you be if nothing were missing? If lack had no voice in your head? What would change if you finally believed that you were chosen, sufficient, divine by nature? The real shift happens not when you change the world, but when you change who's looking at it. And the one looking is always your assumed identity. Remember, God does not speak as something outside you, to you. God speaks as you. And the language, I am. Every time you follow I am with a description, you're writing scripture in the temple of your being. Your identity is the prayer, your assumption is the sermon, and your embodiment is the miracle already walking by sight, not hope. You are not separate from the voice that said, let there be. That same power whispers in you every time you dare to affirm your worth, your beauty, your freedom, your wholeness, not after the evidence, but before. Where faith lives, where the world is still pliable, waiting for your command. So ask yourself gently, but seriously, who am I being right now? Not an action, but an assumption. What energy am I calling mine? What future version of myself am I rehearsing every time I feel a certain way, in silence? Let that awareness lift you out of unconscious creation and into divine authorship. Stop trying to change the world to prove your worth. Change your voice, your inner name, your inner stance, and the world will have no choice but to follow. Identity is not a dream you hope to one day embody. It is the doorway to reality. It is always on, always transmitting, and the world is always listening. You walk clothed in your I am. You eat, love, breathe, and create by it. Not out of effort, but because consciousness always ripens whatever it wears. Let yourself be adorned in divine confidence. Let yourself try on your highest expression. Not someday. Now. Speak it within yourself and feel it until it resonates with no resistance. For the universe only knows how to do one thing with a consistent identity. Make it flesh. Lesson 12. Let your inner voice become reality. The world around you is not random. It is not separate from you. It is language made visible. Your language. The echo of your inner voice, carved into matter. When you open your eyes and look at your life, you are reading what you once whispered within. There is no delay, only unfolding. The form you walk through is just the word made manifest, and that word was you. At first, this is hard to accept, that you are the author, the director, the silent speaker behind every curtain. It's easier to believe life is happening to you, but the moment you realize life is happening through you, you'll begin to speak differently, with intention, with sacred direction, because you'll understand, reality listens and responds. You don't change the world by force, you change it by frequency, and frequency is not volume, it's resonance. The world doesn't obey emotion without structure, but it cannot resist a feeling that's clothed in assumption. That's the voice of creation. Not pleading, not hoping, not forecasting one day, but embodying it now. The voice of inner knowing, saying, I am, not as a desire, as a fact. The chair you're sitting on began as an idea. The shoes on your feet were once an intention in the mind of a maker. The conversations unfolding in your day began silently inside someone's self-talk. Everything visible starts invisible. Everything solid, once fluid. Everything hard, once a whisper. So it is with your reality. You're not waiting on permission from the world. The world is waiting on instruction from your inner voice. When you begin to speak reality into being from the inside, not with force, but with felt conviction, the world has no choice but to mirror you. This is the seed law. Spirit takes substance when called by the name I am. Let it sink in. The moment you choose a self-con concept, life begins to prove you right. If you say, I am loved, and truly feel it, people will begin treating you as beloved. If you say, how, I am abundant, and walk around in that wealth of being, unseen doors swing open. Not because money came, but because you did. The version of you aligned with the God tone inside you, calm, certain, whole. Inner voice becomes outer experience, once it is felt as done. Not wished for, not shoved toward, simply claimed, worn, embodied. And this claiming has no dependency on the circumstances. It doesn't need the world to say yes first. It dares to say yes on its own, and trusts the world will catch up. You must become the sound you long to hear. If you want to be understood, speak to yourself as understanding. If you want to be seen, see yourself now, not in a mirror, but in your felt value. If you want to manifest love, be the echo of it before it arrives. Don't wait on creation. Be creation. This is not pretending. This is aligning. Pretending says, I hope this becomes true. Aligning says, this is true. And the world is revealing it. The voice of God, your awareness, is never waiting. It is forever in the now. Every time you breathe in, I am, you enter the eternal moment where time bends, matter moves, and miracles are not rare. They are normal responses to a soul that finally remembered who they are. So let your inner voice become your reality. Not eventually. Now. Start with how you refer to yourself. Watch how you think when no one is listening. That's not just self-talk. That's God talk. That's your creative spark scripting the universe. Declare the invisible and feel it into form. Whisper wealth and let your body feel secure. Whisper health and let your breath stretch wide. Whisper love and let your spine rise tall. You are never speaking to an empty world. You are speaking to the living fabric that bends to your deepest belief. When you say I am, you are choosing what the infinite becomes through you. So speak not to describe how it is. Speak to reveal what already lives inside you. Faith is the language of being. Feeling is the frequency of form. And your inner voice is the portal. Let it be sacred. Let it speak from the end. Let it bloom into flesh. Because the world is not your master. It is your mirror. And it is only reflecting what your voice has already become.